Welcome back to my channel. Do you realize that you are creating your own stress? Probably not, but you are. Do you know what a people pleaser is? It's just what it sounds like, someone who tries to please everyone, and that can't be done. What typically happens when you are a people pleaser is that you use up all of your energy and not just your energy but your time on other people and doing what they want you to do. And there are people in the world who search out people like you, people who are people pleasers. And I used to be one, so I can talk about this intimately because I know it intimately. But I learned how not to be a people pleaser and how to please myself. If you always find yourself doing for others, and when you need something, there's nobody there to help you, maybe one person or so. But the people who you give the most to are never there when you need them. You know why? Because they too have learned that you are a people pleaser. We teach people how to treat us. And if you have taught them that it's okay to treat you in this way, then trust me, they will, because they are looking for victims. And people pleasers are victims because you can't say no. You haven't learned how to say no. And why do you think you haven't learned how to say no? Because you want everybody to like you. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You want people to think you're nice. And then there's a whole multitude of other reasons why you do it. But none of those are correct. You may be nice, but doing things that you don't really want to do is not being very nice to yourself. I decided a long time ago that I would rather have you be mad at me than for me to be mad at me. Because if you're always angry with yourself because you said yes to something that you didn't really want to do, then that's a clue that you need to change something. You need to change that. There are so many behaviors that don't serve our highest good, and always saying yes is one of those things. What I want you to consider, if you would, is what would happen if you decided that you were not going to say yes anymore just because somebody asked you to do something. How much time would you free up in your life to do the things that you really want to do? Have you realized that every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else? And in this situation, when you're saying yes to everyone else, you are saying no to all of the things that you need and want to do for yourself. How does that feel? Not very good. And like I said, I am a reformed people pleaser. I'm healed. I no longer say yes when I mean no. I have learned how to create boundaries. And that's what I want to help you with, is learning how to create boundaries. And how do you do that? Well, one of the things that you have to do is you have to build up your own self-confidence and know that it's okay. If you need to say yes to the people in your life in order to keep them in your life or to have them continue to like you or be friends with you, let them go, because they are not your friends. Anyone who's your friend is not going to take advantage of you like that. So I know the first time I decided to put my foot down and start saying no, I thought the floor was just going to open up and swallow me. Well, guess what? It didn't. It didn't open up and swallow me. I survived it. And I was so shocked, and I was shaking. My knees were shaking, but I survived it. And what I learned is that the more I practiced saying no, the easier it became. And it didn't happen overnight. And as I've said before, everything takes time. Change takes time. Nothing happens overnight. You have to be willing to give it time, but you have to practice. And I know you can't just start today, because learning to say no is like building a muscle. You can't go to the gym today and expect to come out with muscles tomorrow. So I understand that. So what I want to encourage you to do is I want you to start a morning ritual, because if we want change in our lives, then we have to change. We have to be willing to take the steps in order to change. And one of the best ways to do that I've found to do that, is to start a morning ritual. And what is a morning ritual? A morning ritual is where you take time to be with yourself and with God and just with your own thoughts. It's where you prepare yourself for the day and for your day and the things that you'd like to accomplish. I start my day out. My morning ritual consists of me reading 7 books every morning. And these are just daily reads. Like, for instance, today is November 13th. My lucky number is 13. But all of them are daily reads. So everything was November 13th today. And it takes me probably about 45 minutes or so to read all of those. But they set the framework for my day. And once I have finished those books, I'm just on top of the world. I feel like I can go out and face my day, and anything that I'm confronted with that day, I know that I can handle. And I'm not asking you to read 7 books. I would like for you to start off with just one, no, maybe 2. One is Jesus Calling. Jesus Calling is by Sarah Young, and it's been a bestseller for many years. And it's written from the perspective of Jesus speaking directly to us. And it's amazing how when you read something and it's addressing exactly what's going on in your life at that time. Now, that doesn't happen every day, but it happens many days. I love that book. And so that's what I start out with. Another book I'd like for you to add to your reading repertoire is a book called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. And this is not the book. I just want you to be able to see his name, Norman Vincent Peale. He wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, and it speaks to it right here. But that's what I'd like for you to get, that book, and you can get it at Half Price Books. They almost always have it. Or you can order it on Amazon. And you can start out by reading these 2 books, Jesus Calling and The Power of Positive Thinking. And you just read, maybe start out with 1 or 2 pages. I don't know. I'm a slow reader. But you start out with as many as you have time to read. I would like for you to start out with at least 15, 20 minutes in the morning. And I know for some of you that sounds like a lot of time, because you're not going to bed on time, you don't have a bedtime, and you wake up and you're exhausted, and all you want to do is hit that snooze again so that you can extend your misery a little bit more. Don't do that. Please get up, give yourself time, You know how much time it takes you to get dressed to go to work. Give yourself enough time to devote to yourself in the mornings so that you have time for your morning ritual. I promise you, you will be so happy you decided to do this after a while. When you see how it sets your day in the right direction, it gives you the right frame of mind to start your day out. You're not rushing, you're calm, and you have learned something, and you've learned how to better your life. And as you do this, you will gain more and more strength. And this is what is going to be required in order for you to ever get to a point where you're strong enough to set boundaries with people and to be able to say no. Like I said, it doesn't happen overnight, but with practice, you too can learn how to say no. And then you will have so much more time to accomplish the things that really serve your highest good and not somebody else's highest good. So that's number one. We're going to start a morning ritual. And once you start it, and I hope you start it soon, please don't stop. Do it every single morning. So that's number one. Number two is the other way that you create stress, your own stress, is by being late, never being on time, and having to rush around to try to get to where you need to be, and you don't make it. And you know that jittery feeling? We all know that feeling that we have when we think we're going to be late, or we know we're going to be late. We speed, we do a lot of things that we shouldn't do in order to get there on time. Well, you can eliminate that kind of stress in your life if you will just leave early enough. That's all you have to do. Don't try to be there on time. Try to be there early. You can take your book with you and always have something to read. Have that, you can read a few more pages of that. What you probably do now is get on social media if you're ever early. Some of you are never early for anything, but I want you to eliminate that behavior, because that's a very self-sabotaging behavior. Always plan to be somewhere at least 15 minutes early. And I know for some of you that probably sounds sacrilegious, because you're sliding in the door just on time or a few minutes after, or you're in the parking lot at 9 o'clock when you were supposed to be there at 9 o'clock. Can I tell you something? If you're in the parking lot at 9 o'clock and you were supposed to be at work or at your appointment at 9 o'clock, you're late, because being in the parking lot doesn't count. So take that pressure off of yourself and just get up earlier, whatever time it is for you. I know in the last video I told y'all I get up at 3 a.m. I want to clarify that I'm not asking any of you to get up when I get up. Your bedtime is your bedtime. My bedtime is my bedtime, and that works for me. The other thing that I'd neglected to mention to you is that you should also have a cutoff time at night. When you shut down your social media, you don't read emails, you don't read text messages, and you have to start letting people know that your shutoff time, my shutoff time is 7 p.m. because I need to get ready to go to sleep, because since I go to bed at 8 o'clock, I need to be ready for that. And if I get any bad news before I go to bed, then I'm not going to be able to sleep well. And if I get good news, because it's going to upset me, if I get good news, it's going to excite me and I won't be able to sleep. Well, getting up as early as I do, I've got to get my sleep because I'm not going to be a happy camper if I don't. So I learned years ago that I was going to have a cutoff time where I would shut everything down. I mean, I still watch TV and things like that, but as far as communicating with the outside world, I don't, like I said, no emails, no phone calls, no text messages, beginning at 7 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, I am ready to go to bed. And I go to bed, my head hits the pillow, and I'm out. And I have no trouble whatsoever getting up the next morning. And the reason I mentioned to y'all in the previous video was to have that set bedtime and the set time that you get up, and do that every day, even on weekends. And I know you have to build up to that weekend part. That's okay. But when you do that, your body becomes accustomed to that. And then after a while, it just wakes up. And my body just wakes up. I don't need an alarm clock to get up. I set one because I'm a responsible person. And I know that I'm not perfect. So just in case I happen to be in a really deep sleep or something, or I went to bed a little later than I had intended, because things happen, I realize that. But I have that alarm set just in case. But even when I'm tired, I still wake up at the same time because my body is just accustomed to waking up at that time. And that's where I'm trying to get y'all to go, is to train your body and your mind in such a way that it's on automatic pilot for the things that are important to you in your life. If you don't like that rushed feeling, then stop creating these situations that put you in that rushed situation, because it's all within our control. Stress is not something that comes from that's outside of us. It's not external, it's internal. And it's what we are creating. So if you don't like that feeling, and I know you don't like it, none of us do, then let's stop doing that. Okay, so we're going to create our morning ritual. We're going to start leaving on time so that we have time to be early, not on time, because for me, the way I see it is, if I'm not early, then I'm late. And we all know traffic is not an excuse. For where I live, traffic is not an excuse because there's always traffic. And maybe where you live as well, there's always traffic. So if there's always traffic, and we know there are always going to be accidents, there's always going to be something to slow us down. Plan for that. Yes, sometimes you will be late regardless, but it will be the exception and not the rule. I don't want to be a person that people can't depend on. If I tell you I'm going to be there at a certain time, you can pretty much put money on it that I'm going to be there. I am so prompt that if I'm not on time, people start calling because they think something has happened to me. That's how I want you to be too. That's called being dependable. You're wasting other people's time if you're always having people wait on you. I don't like to wait on people, so I don't make other people wait on me. Okay, now let's talk about the holidays. The holidays are coming up. Are you looking forward to going home, being with family, or hanging out with friends, or how do you spend the holidays? I know that what I'm about to say is going to be controversial. However, it's what I believe and it's what I practice. If you don't get along with the people that you're planning to spend the holidays with, why spend the holidays with them? Even if it's your family. If they don't celebrate you, then you shouldn't be there. I don't go around people, I don't spend time with people who tolerate me. I spend time with people who celebrate me, because there are lots of people who would who do enjoy being around me, being in my company. And I'm sure the same happens with you. Spend more time with the people who enjoy being with you, not the people who are going to make your life miserable. If you always leave and you're sad and depressed and you wish you had not come, you had not gone to your family Thanksgiving dinner or your Christmas dinner or whatever, then maybe this is the year that you just say no. Just say no. You don't need to add additional stress in your life to be around people who don't appreciate you. And you may not appreciate them. You may love them. Just because we love somebody, it doesn't mean we necessarily like them. And that includes our family. There are family members that we just tolerate. Well, I have stopped doing that. I don't tolerate people that I don't want to be around. Even if I love you, I've learned to love you from a distance. And that's what I'm asking y'all to do as well. If you already know that it's going to end in a shouting match and you're going to walk out, you're going to be in tears and they're going to be mad, you're mad, what have you accomplished? I mean, was that really the kind of Thanksgiving that you wanted to have, or the kind of Christmas that you wanted to have? It certainly is not the kind of holiday that I would choose to have. I would rather spend my holiday alone than to spend it with people who are just going to be argumentative and mean, and who don't care about my feelings, or they just have no respect for themselves or others. And so I want you to, if you can, if you have it within you, just ask yourself, is this something that I really want to put myself through again this year? If this has been happening for years, then you already know what to expect. And is that really what you want to do? If it is, if you're into torture, then go ahead and do it. Maybe by next year, if you continue practicing these rituals that I'm giving you, then maybe next year you'll be strong enough. But I really hope that you will take some time this year and realize that your peace of mind is worth so much more than hanging out with people that you can't get along with. Maybe you should hang out with some friends, maybe have a Friendsgiving or something. But of course, the choice is yours. My choice, as I said, is to be with people with whom I get along with and who get along with me, because life is short and I've already lived longer than I have left, and I plan to get all of the gusto that I can out of whatever time that I have left on this earth. And I hope you will too, because even though you may be younger than me, you don't know how much time you have left. People die. It can be little children, it can be senior citizens, it can be a 20-year-old. We just don't know. But I'm determined that for whatever time that I have left, I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. And I'm going to continue to do my morning ritual. I'm going to continue to say no when I mean no, because I'm worth it. And I need to have time to accomplish the things in my life that I want to accomplish. I don't want to be a prisoner to other people, and I don't want you to be a prisoner to other people either. So we're going to stop here. Let's make this a great day. Let's make every day count, starting with today. I'll see y'all again soon. Bye.